Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researchers Celebrity. Today we have Dr. Rajdeep Chowdhury with us as our speaker. And a brief introduction about Dr. Rajdeep. He has done his bachelor's in chemistry from Burdwan University, West Bengal. And for masters, he joined Vishwa Bharati, also known as Tagore University in West Bengal. For PhD in physical chemistry, he attended Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences in Kolkata, post which he moved to United States for postdoctoral training and attended Texas A&M University, then moved to Germany for further postdoctoral research at University of Göttingen, and currently is assistant professor at GITAM University at Hyderabad campus in India. With this brief introduction, I would say thank you so much, Dr. Rajdeep, for taking time out for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me for this in this wonderful platform. And um, also the thing is that I would like to thank you for taking this very nice initiative of bringing forward researchers from so many different various disciplines and let them share their journey of research. It is indeed an wonderful initiative for which you deserve a lot of credit, and I really want to appreciate you for that. And as you mentioned rightly about my brief introduction. um, I am currently working as an assistant professor at GITAM University. And with that, let's start our conversation. I am really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Dr. Rajdeep. So, the way we start all these conversation is the standard that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
Okay, I think the answer of this particular questions is going to be a little bit interesting and a little bit probably you conducted so many sessions like this and you got so many answers. But probably today's answer will be slightly different, I hope. With that, let's just start answering your questions. So nowadays, if you look at the young people of especially I'm talking about India, they are really matured. I mean, they decide from the very beginning, maybe in school or at most college, that what they want to do in what they want to do, what they want to choose in their as their career. But for me, actually, there was nothing predetermined. So the thing is that why I am saying that nothing was predetermined, there is a backstory behind that. I will just quickly go through that. So basically, I come from a background where I stayed in a village. I come from a village in West Bengal, and my father was a school teacher, and my grandfather was also a school teacher. So you can imagine, like. My family history is like kind of being school teacher and choosing being a teacher as the career. So when I was growing up, I was in my school. So I was also thought like teaching was is a really noble profession. And while you are teaching, while you are giving knowledge to the young people, you are really contributing for the society. That was my thought, and which is indeed true also. I mean, right now where I am, I am teaching here also. So of course I am not teaching school kids, but I'm teaching like more mature people. But I'm teaching after all. So my thought was like I will also become a school teacher. This was the thought until I am in my college actually. But after that, I moved to the university, and then there was a teacher who was teaching us chemistry. He was a very popular teacher in our chemistry department. So, like I was doing classes and everything, and then I don't remember which day, but on some day, I was having some casual conversation with him, and he asked me like, "So Rajdeep, like you are on the second semester of masters. You are going to graduate in next year. So what you are going to do next? What is your plan? So I said, sir, I mean, I would like to prepare for like giving exams for being a school teacher. So I'm just thinking about that only. Then he asked me a very good question at that point. He said, like, so you want to be a teacher, you want to teach kids. That is very good. So that means you want to transmit your knowledge to others. I said, yes, sir, that is true. Then he said, have you ever thought about from where you are getting these knowledges, or who are the responsible persons for bringing that knowledges in form of books or papers or journals or whatever, which you are going to transmit among the students? I said, I haven't thought about in that way actually. So he said, like, a people like you who is very talented, very young, and who has a lot of potential to do a lot of things. You should not be choosing to be a school teacher. You can do a lot better than that. I'm not telling you to move from your focus, but rather I am pointing towards a better version of your focus. That means if you go for research where you can generate knowledge, and then after that you can choose to transmit that knowledge to anyone, in common man, students, or whatever, your colleague, whatever, that will be a much better thing which will suit you. That conversation actually had a deep impact in my mind. And then I started realizing probably I am not doing justice to my knowledge or talent, whatever you call it. So then I realized, yes, probably I should be at least exploring this area, because I didn't have any idea about like what research would be, how to perform that, what kind of things we are going to get from that. But uh, mm, after that conversation, I realized at least I have a lot of time. I mean, I can choose to be teacher anytime, but let's just explore that area. Let's see what science actually means. What is the meaning of discovering something? What kind of feeling, what kind of emotion you will get while where you can think like after discovering something you are contributing to science. He added also on top of that, like whenever if you choose a research to as your profession, never ever stop never ever stop on the on your research only. Try something out of the box, try something which can contribute for the society. I actually very grateful to the Indian government, because I studied my bachelor's in a state university. I studied my master's in a central university, where you can't believe, like, we literally paid probably hundreds in a year during our study. So it was that cheap actually. After that, when I went to US or Germany, I know like how much they pay for their study. So I really owe a lot of things from the Indian education system. So I really thought like I should give something back to the Indian society. So that is also one inspiration of being into the research. And then afterwards, I finished my master's and went for the PhD. I luckily got into a very good lab. Um, that I will come later, probably during our discussion. Um, so the institute where I did my PhD, actually, its name is Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. And for the viewers, especially for the viewers in India, I would like to point out that this is the place where which produced the only Nobel Prize in science from India, which was given to Professor C.V. Raman. So we probably all kind of know him. He's a stalwart person, and the Raman effect, for which he got the Nobel Prize, that was actually discovered in our institute. So if you went to our institute, if you go into the entrance, you will see CV Raman statue right in the front. And he was an like during our PhD, like our professors and director used to say, like he is all of our inspiration. So after that, I gradually get into the research. I started doing my PhD. Then I slowly started realizing what actually science is. I mean, you get to do an experiment, get an exciting result, you discover something. That is a altogether, that is a different feeling. So then I really started enjoying doing science and being into the research. So yeah, I mean, this is probably how I get into research. And then
Absolutely.
afterwards, there was no looking back. I really know, like, this is what I want to do, because this is what gives me like satisfaction in my life. It has everything. Like it has failures, it has excitement, it has emotions, everything you have in this journey of research. I mean, sometimes if you go to some other profession, you will probably have like back to back, like success, success, success. But if you go into the research, I mean, of course, people who are into the research, they can connect with me. Like they know, like they go with a plan for the day, go into the morning, start the experiment, and whatever they are expecting, completely opposite happens. I mean, it is so true for so many, I mean, not so many, all the peoples in our profession. So it is altogether a brilliant experience. And then I realize, I mean, I really want to do this. There is nothing else I can think about. I will do research in my life, and I will choose research as my profession. So yeah, this is
Absolutely.
the way I entered into the research.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned in the starting, that yes, I we have never had a conversation starting with this, like how a person is so determined that he want to become a school teacher, ended up to be assistant professor, and it is just the starting. Absolutely. But one thing which I see a common thing here is that the role of mentorship, the professor who told you about all this, you know, path of research, who introduced you that okay, you are sharing this journey, like you know, the knowledge with the students, but from where it is coming, that introduction which took you to the on the path of research, that is more important. And I believe you during your training have learned so many things about the same, and then now when you are mentoring, you are going to transfer all of this to your students. So, before going to the different stages of your career, let's start with the experience of doing a PhD in the only institute in India where they have produced, you know, the Nobel Prize in science from India. So, how tough, challenging was that?
I mean, it was really not so easy entering into the PhD and like finding a good lab in India. Especially these days, it is really challenging. In our time, also, it was not so easy because Bengal is known for doing basic science. Like Bengali people are really crazy about doing basic science. I mean, I don't know if there might be some people who already know about it, but there will be some other people. I am telling for general audience that Bengali people are really crazy of doing basic science, and you can't imagine like how many people gives entrance exam for the PhD, which is like NET or GET exam. So the thing is that it was never so easy. But the thing is that for me, it was not that difficult because of the mentorship of my teacher, which earlier I was mentioning about. So he actually sit with me, and he asked me like, you have like went through so many subjects in chemistry. Now you tell me which are the things which you would like to do the most, which you like to see yourself in that position. What kind of subjects give you like more, how should I say, like which are the areas which gives you joy of exploring. So then I slowly started telling like which are the subjects which made me more like keen to be in. Then he told me like, okay, so if you are going to do this subject, you have this option. If you are going to do this subject, you have that option. Because when we were doing our masters, we really had very narrow idea about that world of PhD. I really had very narrow idea about the world of PhD because I didn't know any prominent scientist. I did know about some institutes, but I hardly know about any persons or the kind of research they do because we were not that matured in that stage. So I completely felt that I just have to choose the subject where I want to do research, and rest of the thing I will just go by his advice. So he told me like these are the persons which suits your interest. So go to them, talk to them, and then be interviewed by them. If they like you, then you can join PhD with them. But don't think about all those things right now. For now, your job is like you are on the last semester of the PhD. By that time, I actually qualified the entrance exam for the PhD. So, like I would have joined with my own fellowship. So I thought, okay, whatever my mentor was suggesting, let's just follow that path and let's just go to the people, meet those people, go to the lab, see what is happening, talk to the people of the lab. So I think I explored quite a number of labs, went to their labs, met the supervisors, talked to them, and then finally I decided like a lab where I really want to do my PhD. And luckily, he liked me also. And then he said, okay, you can join PhD with me. So then I took some time and then moved to that lab for the PhD. So that was the story of being entered into the PhD into my into the institute which I was talking about. Yeah.
So, like, these are the things which we always try to communicate with the researchers or the students who are considering to join PhD in an institute or lab, that as Dr. Rajdeep mentioned, it is very important that you explore your options. You go talk to your would be supervisors, PhD mentors, and see that if you feel that you belong to that lab, because every lab has a different environment, which is even more important because you're going to spend most of your time with them, and it's like commitment of 3 4 5 years depending on how long it takes. But then again, uh, how collaborative they are, how good the environment is there, is there any, like, because you might face that some of the labs environment are really good, but it's not the type of your personality. So you have to think that also, that yes, while you should be also open to learn and adapt, but there are certain things which you don't want to invest your energy into, because you need a lot of energy for your research, that's for sure. Speaking of which, Dr. Rajdeep, so when now you made all these decisions, you joined the lab, how that ride from starting to end, if you can say, summarize that journey of PhD.
Right. I mean, so when I entered into the PhD, so actually our supervisor was the director of that institute. So he was literally very busy in the administrative work. So In a way, I actually happened to choose that lab because the thing is that when I talked to the people of that lab, I had the impression that the supervisor of that particular lab, he normally doesn't impose his project into the students. Rather, he actually invites the PhD students to choose their own work and work on that. Whether that will result in a paper or not, that is a different thing. But this is a very important thing being a PhD student, that if in the first year, or it usually happens like when you become a little bit experience in that lab, then the supervisor allows you to choose your own project. Initially when you join a lab, it happens to be like the supervisor gives you a work and you work on that. Whether that produce what kind of result, what kind of paper, that is a different thing. Then after that, let's say 1 or 2 year after you join the PhD, when you very well know what is happening in the lab and everything, then you choose your own project and then work on that. Then the supervisor doesn't interfere on your choice of the project. This I think happen in most of the labs. But when I entered into the lab, when I even before entering into the lab, I knew like when I am going into the lab, I can choose my own project. But actually, after some point, I felt that was not a good idea actually. Because the thing is that when I choose my own project, then the thing is that you are new to the lab, you don't know the system, you will find a lot of challenges. For example, how, let's say, even for some small thing like how to prepare the sample. What are the things you need for preparing that sample? Because hypothetically thinking about a project, that is a different thing. And bringing that into the table or in front of an instrument, that is a complete different thing. So when I worked into the lab, I thought like I did a mistake. I shouldn't have chosen my own project. I shouldn't have told my supervisor that I would like to choose my own project. Rather, I should have asked him like what kind of project is going on in the lab, and I could have chosen one project among those. And then when I become experienced, then could have chosen my own project. But I think I did a mistake, but that mistake actually paid off. When I literally I was standing at the end of my PhD, then I realized like that was a good move for me because it actually produced my paper little bit late. But the thing is that I actually went through all the hurdles which a PhD student should go through, because it's not just doing science, rather it's facing all the challenges in daily life and then getting rid of that, finding a small way of finding your solutions. All this takes a tremendous role in your training, because PhD is, of course, this is a training. You have to consider this as a training. And if you don't get hurdle, you will not learn so many things during your PhD. I mean, I shouldn't say like whoever haven't faced any hurdle or whoever was very lucky to have a smooth PhD journey, they did not learn anything. I shouldn't say that. But in a way, I feel like these hurdles teach you a lot of different things. And if the journey of the PhD is very smooth, if you don't need to get through those hurdles, I mean, you are missing a very beautiful part of your life. So in a way, I would say like those hurdles in my initial days was really helped me a lot. I spent a lot of time to troubleshoot those, which after some point I realized those are very tiny things. I should have like got help from senior lab members to get rid of those quite easily. But I chose to solve those things by my own. I fought for really small things, even some small ordering. I really worked really hard for all those things. But finally, it paid off because the thing is that what I initially invested on in exploring the exploring how to get rid of those hurdles, that afterwards gave me a lot of confidence, and that helped me afterwards in my postdoc also, which I will come probably later. So yes, I mean, I felt like I faced a lot of hurdles initially by choosing my own project, by choosing to work alone in my own project. But after that, when I went through that phase, I was really confident. And then after that, I really trained also some junior PhD students who worked under me, and probably they were really happy to work under me. And after that, like everything went well. So I would really say it was not so easy. And to conclude, it's better for a PhD student that the initial life of their PhD journey shouldn't be that easy. If it is easy, then you have to face difficulty in the later phase of your research career. But if you initially face those difficulties, the things will be much more easier for you afterwards. So
Absolutely. And I think this is the best way, Dr. Rajdeep, how you have mentioned for all the PhD students that before joining a lab, you should also think and discuss this with your advisors that are you going to pick your own project, or there is some ongoing project in the lab which you can be part of and then just get your PhD. But one thing which I believe that you all should learn from Dr. Rajdeep is about the protocols, procedures, and infrastructures. You should not be too ambitious also while joining a lab without acknowledging what are the resources you have there. Either it is infrastructure or it is for funding. Are the protocols or procedures are well established, or you are going to take, as Dr. Rajdeep mentioned, that everything has its own pros and cons. It might take you a while, but walking that path makes you more confident, independent, and if you see yourself in a longer run to do wet lab work or be an active researcher, not only just teaching classes, then I think it is even more important to feel confident about your own ideas, and yes, to be open for failures, because that is also very integral part of that. So Dr. Rajdeep, if you can tell or share a little bit more about seeking for the help to the seniors, discussing your failed experiments, how they, like how you got benefited and how they can approach or start thinking if some things are not working.
I mean, the thing is that, as I mentioned, actually, like failure in whether it's in the beginning part or in the later part of your PhD, even like postdoc, that will be there. But the thing is that how you are tackling that failure. The thing, I always believe in this theory that PhD or research work is not like a T20 match. It's like a test match where you have to go session by session, ball by ball. It's possible that like 3 session you played really bad, but one session of good play that can make you back on track. And at the end of the day, that can dictate the result of that match also. So why I'm bringing this analogy here? Because the thing is that during my PhD or during my postdoc, faced so many failures. I can't I mean, when I feel right now, when I look back and when I see like how many after those many failures, how can I success in my life with my research? I really feel like it is amazing. So the thing is that you have to accept your failures, because the thing is that if you always get success, then you will not realize what are the other factors which can make that particular experiment or that particular approach fail. But if you fail, then you will think deeper into that problem, and there is a chance, always 100% chance, that the learning from the failure will be much better than the success. Because if you are getting success, that means whatever you were expecting or anticipating, you are getting a result something very close to that. But if you are getting failure, that let's say complete failure, that means whatever you think like it should work like this only, there is no other option that it would work in other way, but completely opposite happens, then you should not be thinking like, oh, my experiment got failed, what should I do? Rather, you should think that this is giving you a wonderful opportunity to get something out of the box. Because the thing is that whatever you are expecting completely opposite happening, that means there is much more interesting thing going on compared to what you have thought. So that always give you an opportunity to explore the hidden truth of the science and explore the complete opposite phase of what you have thought. So that is really interesting. But the thing is that what advice I would like to give to the young researcher, that never get stuck into that problem. Even if you, let's say, getting a problem back to back, always try to think how to get rid of that problem, whether it is talking with someone else or it is talking with you itself. Try to explore different things, or maybe your supervisor or anyone. Don't just don't just get stuck onto that well. Because the thing is that I really feel in this era of artificial intelligence, you have so much information available, like in front of you, whether it is in form of like resources, whether it is in the form of people, in educated people, intelligent people close to you. There are a lot of resources, so please make use of that. Don't feel like your idea will be stolen by someone. It doesn't, it never happen like that in science. No one can steal your ideas, I am telling you. So be like, don't be shy of talking your ideas to other people. No one will steal your ideas. Rather, you can get a better idea if you discuss with other persons. They might give you, because the thing is that I really feel like how the science works is that you can't do everything by your own. You can't be an expert of everything. It will be a stupid idea to expect like one person will be expert on every different things. So try to go to the people who are the expert on that particular problem. Discuss with him. Try to get rid of that problem. And I am telling you, like 99 out of 100 times, these kind of trick will work for you. And when you come up with a fresh idea and let that implement in your problem, you will definitely get success. Talk to your seniors, even you talk to your juniors. Sometimes our Indian psychology is that, okay, we can talk to our senior people or like supervisor, but we should not talk to our juniors. They doesn't know better than us. It's not like that. Everyone is a different individual. Everyone has their own thought process. And you can't even imagine sometimes, let's say, a very complicated, what is a very complicated problem for you, even a junior people can give you a very nice idea which you can implement and you can get rid of that particular hurdle within a second. So, my advice to all the young researcher is that whenever you get into a problem or get into a situation where you are anticipating something and you are getting something else, always see that as an opportunity. But whenever you have this kind of opportunity, don't get stuck into that well of the problem. Try to get out of it by talking to other people, whether be it your senior or supervisor or junior people. Talk to them and try to get rid of that idea, try to implement something else, and you will definitely get rid of that particular situation. Time always changes, it never. If you work, your problem will be gone after some point, that is for sure. It happened so many times in my research career, like I had so many problems. Sometime I feel like I don't think I will be able to get rid of this problem, but I am telling you, there will be time that you will get rid of that problem, and when you get rid of that problem, you will come more confident, more enriched in knowledge. And this is how this is the beauty of doing research.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, I always think in that way, like
Absolutely. And I think that's the attitude which everyone should keep up. Like, sadly, what has been observed in current scenarios, that there are high rates of PhD dropout students, or
right.
in very sad cases about committing suicides. So, at Empowering Science Foundation, we believe in breaking the barrier, and this is one of the barriers, as you clearly explained, that never get stuck with the problem for a long time. Again, you might have to acknowledge that you are burnout, or you need a break, you need rejuvenation, and then sometimes it is as simple as taking a break for a couple of days, and then everything start working again. Whatever is there, you have to be at least conscious about your research, that what you are doing, you know the fundamentals, it should work. But if something is not working the way you are, and if you are approaching the research question with an open mind, that is the key. That you do not marry with the hypothesis. That's why it is called as a hypothesis, because then you have this liberty to be open. It can go anyway, either this or that, whatever it is. That's when you make it as a theory. So, Dr. Rajdeep, talking of handling the stress, or a chronic stress, how you have dealt with it, and then what you can share with the students.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, probably I would like to tell you the story during my first postdoc at Texas A&M. So when I went into that lab, actually that was a slightly different field compared to where I did my PhD. Not slightly different, I would say it was very different to compare to the work which I have done during my PhD. And I intentionally chose it because I realize whatever I have done for my PhD, if I am not doing at least one step further from what I have done in my PhD, then I am not what should I say? Like I am not making advancement in my career. So I should really go at least one step further from what I have done in my PhD. So I have chosen basically I am from a chemistry background. I did my PhD in physical chemistry. Then the lab which I entered in my first postdoc, that was basically the supervisor was a PhD in biochemistry. So it's you can imagine like it's completely different. I mean, biochemistry has chemistry, but whoever does research in biochemistry, they know like research in pure chemistry and biochemistry is a completely different thing. So I entered into that lab, and then slowly, slowly, when I started realizing what they are doing, I felt like I was regretting my decision of being into a lab which is like different from my PhD lab. Mm, can I handle this? I was really not sure like how to handle the pressure, because the thing is that as soon as I joined the lab, there was one senior postdoc who was leaving at that point. Actually, I was hired because that person was leaving. And that person was the only person who were working on that area where I was going to work. So when I entered into the lab, there was no one who can tell me like what are the things we are doing here, what are the pros and cons of these kind of experiment. And I was completely new to that field. So luckily, my supervisor was really a patient person. Like his level of patience, I haven't seen anyone with that level of patience. So he said, "You have 1 year. I will not force you to start working on that project right away. I understand when I took you, I understood like you are coming from a different background and you will need a lot of time to get acquainted with whatever we are doing here because it will not be easy for you. And you don't feel like you are alone because my door is always open for everyone. You can always come to me even for a stupid problem. You can always come to me. I will give you solution." Because when he started his independent professor journey, he was actually working in the lab for I think 7 8 years. After that only he kind of stopped working in the lab because he was busy with other works. But he worked for a long time after he joined into the Texas A&M University, and he actually worked in the bench with the students. So he said, like, you should not be feeling ashamed of not knowing these things, because I know when I hired you, you are coming from a completely different background and you will face problems. So you have 1 year, you explore all the things which is happening inside the lab. Then I realized, like, okay, then I have 1 year. I can now feel a little bit safer in the mind, and I can now start learning all those things which I don't know, which I haven't been through in my PhD life. So I slowly started learning a lot of new things. And then after that, coming to the most difficult part, at least for my research career, was actually I built an instrumental setup when I was doing my first postdoc. So when I went there, when my senior postdoc left, I was left with only one. I don't want to go into technical details, but it is kind of a black box which was there in the table, and I need to make sure that I transform that black box into a an instrument which will be using for my project, which should be fully functional and which should be flexible for doing any kind of changes in that particular setup, so that other people who are coming after me, they can also work on that. So I had to start everything from the scratch. You can't imagine, like, I literally ordered small pieces of small instrument and then assembled. And it was not an easy thing for me to do because I was not an I mean, I had some experience of handling optics, but the kind of thing which I did there from the scratch, I have never done that. And like sometimes, like I used to call like company people multiple times that this is not working for me, please help me do some online meeting or something. I mean, I struggled a lot for so many small things. One example I can give you, like, I when I was building that particular instrument, I was almost at the end of it. And then what happened is, basically, I was interfacing that particular hardware with the computer, and there was some problem. Because of that, the calibration was not happening. So I was trying to reach the company people. Probably I sent them more than 20, 30 emails, and I made probably more than 50 phone calls. And the thing is that sometime you also realize, like, if you are coming on that particular place and see that problem, solving that problem is probably a 5 minute job. But if you are doing it from a distant place, if you are telling some hypothetical solution to someone, working out in that way is so difficult. It never worked like that. And I was having that similar problem. And you can't imagine, I was just for a stupid calibration, I was stuck for almost 4 months. And this I am telling after my effort of almost 1.5 year to build the instrument. I was stuck for almost half a year just for a stupid calibration. And then finally I got it work. And then I thought, okay, I mean, when I look back, my last 2 years of effort, I feel like I haven't done much. I did only like very small amount of work, but the kind of hurdle I went through and the kind of energy, time I invested to get rid of that hurdle, that was huge. And then actually I realized if I get rid of this kind of hurdle in just 2 years, which was looking almost impossible when I started, then everyone can get rid of any kind of problem. So, but what is the key here is that my supervisor always made sure that I was not stuck in that problem. Sometimes he used to give a very funny solution. For example, let's say you are having a problem. So, for example, I will give you a very nice story here. So I used to work with lasers, and laser produce heat. It generates heat. And if you generate heat for a long time, that is not good for anything. So it here warms up the instrument, it warms up the nearby material, it causes vibration. So that is not good. So I told him like this is like this is generating a lot of heat. What should we do? He said so we have to think something which can dissipate the heat very quickly. So he came back in the next morning, coming. So he had a beautiful workshop in his home. So he gave me a very small a metallic plate kind of things, which is made of a very like a heat transmitting material. And he was working with that for some reason for a long time back. He said, I found this in my workshop. Let's see if we can use that and get rid of our problem. And surprisingly, it was really working well for me. It was dissipating heat really quickly, and that is what we need. I mean, sometime the solution is in front of you, and you just need that eye, that vision of looking at those particular things which can really solve your problem. It's not always like you have to search for like specialized material to which can do the job for you. Sometime out of the box solution, maybe some maybe some wooden stick or some metal metal blocks that can do the job for you. You can't imagine. One time we were trying to um, get rid of vibration in our instrument because it was creating a lot of vibration. So we used actually those rubber stamps which which actually dampen the vibration very beautifully. So we actually made use of that in our instrument, which probably no one will imagine like those kind of thing could be used for these kind of scientific purposes. So so those small things which you have in front of you, that can solve your problem very easily. So this was a beautiful learning lesson for me during my postdoc, and I feel like my work is paid off really late because of these initial hurdles. But when I look back at that, that gave me a lot of how should I say, like it's a learning as well as it's using your very tiny common sense in those small problems which can make you out of that particular problem. So that was really amazing learning for me, and I really like want to like thank my supervisor for that, that he always brings out of the box solution, which really helped me not only in solving that problem, but it gave me like a feeling like no problem is like difficult. you can get rid of all those problems. Sometimes don't just go for the crazy solutions, costly solutions, or like trivial solutions. Sometimes you use your common sense and that problem will be resolved. So there is nothing like rule A for solving a problem in science. There is always opportunity for option B, option C, and option D. Whatever will serve your purpose, you can really choose for that. You don't think a lot of you don't think a lot of how should I say, like, you don't think a lot about that problem, but you think about that solution to get rid of that problem. Sometimes it's in front of you and you don't realize it. So you just need someone who will be mentoring you, that you should look for the options just in front of you which can solve your problem. So
I
that was
think
a
that is
beautiful learning thing
No,
for me.
I think that is what most of the researchers, when they stuck with some problem, they just become more tunnel vision, and that is what limits them even more. And if they have mentors, as you mentioned, who are thinking out of the box and thinking basic, sometimes it can be as simple as you mentioned, using about rubber stamps or whatnot. So that is for all the researchers, that probably now you can also start thinking out of the box, sharing it with your supervisor, with your peers, mentors, and get the solution for the problem, because there is nothing like there is a problem and there is no solution. The solutions are always there. It is just how you approach them and how early you discover them. With this, we'll say thank you so much, Dr. Rajdeep, for sharing so many, insightful stories which will help the researchers to troubleshoot and to take their next path. And for all the audience, we'll say stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Thank you, Dr. Rajdeep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.